It was a Western Conference showdown last night, Minnesota versus Memphis, and it was a high-octane, high-scoring affair. Tons of points in the first half, and then even through the third quarter for the Timberwolves. Turned out to be a difference maker, but I want to discuss it because I think we got to talk about Ant-Man and the Wolves a little bit more seriously. All right, so let's do that in this video. So the game went pretty simple and straightforward. These teams were coming out, and they were blazing up the nets. They were knocking down shots. They were getting tons of points. The Wolves came out, scored 37 in the first, the Grizzlies 31. And then in the second quarter, they kind of switched a little bit. The Grizzlies came out really high powered, 41 points in the second frame, and the Wolves 30. So the game was close at halftime. I think the Grizzlies were up by a few points. And then in the third quarter, the Wolves just incredible. 52 points in the third quarter, and the Grizzlies didn't really have a defensive answer. And their offense kind of fizzled. 25 points in the quarter, and then in the fourth quarter, just too much to overcome, even though the Grizzlies did do a better job of defending and, getting some buckets. It just wasn't enough. Final score of 141 to 125. The Grizzlies shot 51% from the field, but the Wolves shot 55. You're going to see this trend. All right, 36 three-point attempts for the Grizz. They made 18. The Wolves took 44, but made 20. And then from the free throw line, the Grizz shot 71%. The Wolves shot 89%. And then from the rebounding side, the Wolves get the edge. They're a +8 overall in rebounding, even on the glass at 8 offensive rebounds. And the turnover is pretty close too. So really what it boiled down to, I think, was just the fact that, the Wolves just shot better and their offense was just more potent. And that's the thing about the Grizz. They don't have, in my opinion, the refined scorers that, like, say, for example, the Wolves have, especially with Anthony Edwards. And Rudy Gobert has been playing great, and Anthony Edwards has been phenomenal. They've really done a nice job of playing better down the stretch in the last, couple dozen games. So I got to give him credit. Julius Randle, 31 points in 35 minutes of action, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. Nice job from him. Jaden McDaniels, 10 points. Rudy Gobert, 13 points. He also got you 4 assists and 8 rebounds. Mike Conley got the nod to start. I don't really like that, but, they got to do what they got to do. 8 points in 27 minutes. Ant-Man, 44 big points on 13 of 19 shooting, 7 of 11 from 3, 11 of 13 from the free throw line. He was really aggressive, looking to get his shots, and he had a hell of a game. 5 rebounds, 3 assists. He had a steal, he had a block. Did have 5 turnovers. That's a little excessive, but he basically runs the show there. Naz Reid, 14 points off the bench. And then I think Alexander Walker had 10 points off the bench. And then for the Grizz, Jaren Jackson was really effective tonight. 4 of 7 from 3. He had 23 points. I didn't really see his rebounding show too well, but he did have a couple of steals. 36 points from Ja. That's a pretty nice outing. Kind of wasted if you think about it, right? They lost this game, it's not typical for him to score 36 points. But he's been playing really good basketball. I know about the grenade and all that other, stuff, the hand gestures. I know he's silly and stupid and whatever else, but he's been playing pretty well. Desmond Bane, 28 in 39 minutes, 6 of 10 from 3. He had a good game. 16 points for Scottie Pippen Jr. off the bench. And looking at the way that things are shaping up now, with the Wolves playing pretty decent basketball, they've won 7 of their last 10 games. They've been playing pretty good. They're, in my opinion, a lot more dangerous than I was giving them credit for. The Grizz actually have moved down to 7th place now in the West. I don't know what their chances of making the playoffs are, but, technically these are playing teams, right? So from past the Warriors, who are in at 6th, there's going to be some movement in the Western Conference standings. Those playing teams will probably stay playing teams, but the teams that are at the top end, they're fighting for their positioning, and there's only a couple of games left, right? So we'll have to see how this pans out. I don't know if the Wolves can get into that top 6. They're I think like a 1 game behind the Clippers, who are at 5, right? So these teams are locked up. The Grizzlies could make it into a playoff spot. The Wolves could. The Warriors, I guess, could drop into a play-in. That makes these teams really dangerous because they're not far away from teams like the Clippers or even the Nuggets and the Lakers. They're 2 games behind these guys. The only teams that are locked into their spots are the Thunder and the Rockets. The rest of the teams, they could all slide if they lose their next 2 games. right, so that's really on them. We'll see how it plays out. I want to give a shout out though to Ant-Man and the Wolves for really doing a nice job the last few weeks, playing quality basketball, getting a lot of wins. And shout out to the Memphis Grizzlies too for getting, the coach got fired, get dismissed. They had lost 3 in a row with their new coach, and then they won 3 in a row. So they've been playing pretty inspired hoops, and you got to give them credit. Nice way to kind of round out the season with some hard play and some good wins. Anyways, let me know what you guys saw when you watched the Wolves and the Grizz, and let me know what you think about their chances in the playoffs. Like, share, subscribe, check out some more videos. We'll see you guys on the next one.